Chuck Norris is a name synonymous with invincibility, martial arts mastery, and Hollywood action stardom. Millions celebrate his iconic roundhouse kicks, steely gaze, and a persona so larger than life that memes alone immortalized him. Yet behind the laughter and legend, a different story exists. One of pain, struggle, and resilience. The man who conquered martial arts championships, fought cinematic battles, and became a symbol of unstoppable strength, did so after surviving a childhood of fear, abuse, and invisibility. The world saw the warrior, but few knew the boy who trembled in corners, hiding from his father's rage. Understanding Chuck Norris fully means looking beyond the public persona, exploring how hardship shaped his character, discipline, and relentless pursuit of self-mastery. His journey proves that the true source of strength is not inherited power, but courage forged through suffering. Childhood in Oklahoma, survival before glory. Born Carlos Ray Norris on March 10, 1940, in Ryan, Oklahoma, Chuck's early life was defined by poverty, fear, and a violent father. Ray Norris, a World War II veteran and mechanic, was an alcoholic whose rage created a household of terror. Love was absent, replaced by fists, insults, and relentless intimidation. Chuck and his two younger brothers learned to make themselves invisible, hiding in corners, praying not to be noticed. His mother Wilma worked tirelessly as a waitress but could not protect them fully. School offered no refuge either. Shy, anxious, and physically slight, Chuck became a ghost among classmates. Each move to a new town brought instability and hunger. From the bruises on his body to the sting of verbal cruelty, Chuck internalized a message that would haunt him. He was not enough. Survival, not success, became the earliest measure of victory in his life. Flight to the Air Force, searching for escape. At 18, desperate to flee his violent home, Chuck joined the United States Air Force. His motivation was not patriotism, but escape, a chance to leave behind the abuse and shame that had defined his childhood. Stationed at Osan Air Base in South Korea in 1958, he became a military policeman, a role that initially offered no identity or confidence. Isolated and insecure, Chuck felt the same invisibility that had haunted him in Oklahoma. Letters to his mother went unsent, and questions about self-worth haunted him. Yet, in a moment of chance, he discovered a small Korean dojang, where martial arts became a revelation. Watching men move with grace and discipline sparked curiosity and awe. For the first time, strength did not come from fear, but from control, focus, and practice. That moment would set the foundation for a lifelong path toward mastery, discipline, and resilience. Martial arts discovery, discipline over rage. Under the guidance of a weathered Korean master, Chuck's body and mind began transforming. Tang Soo Do was more than combat. It was a philosophy, a code, and a discipline that taught mastery over oneself. Early training was agonizing, clumsy movements, bruised hands, and slow progress, but each setback was different from childhood failure. Here, mistakes were corrected with patience and purpose rather than punishment and humiliation. The master emphasized persistence over talent, a lesson Chuck carried into every part of his life. Months of rigorous practice, repetition, and dedication forged the warrior within. By the end of his tour in Korea, Chuck had not only earned skill but a sense of purpose. He was still quiet and introspective, still carrying childhood wounds, but he had discovered a language his body could speak, a path from pain to power, from invisibility to presence. Returning to America, struggle and persistence. Coming back to the United States in 1962, Chuck faced a society largely unfamiliar with Korean martial arts. Tang Soo Do was virtually unknown, and opportunities were scarce. Married to high school sweetheart Diane Holacek, Chuck worked menial jobs, including as a file clerk at Northrop Aviation, where fluorescent-lit offices felt oppressive. Each day tested his resolve, but he maintained his nightly training routine, practicing techniques and perfecting forms in his small apartment. The discipline learned in Korea became both therapy and preparation for future success. By 1964, Chuck opened his first karate school in Torrance, California. Initially, students were few, and the fear of failure lingered, yet gradually word spread about his teaching, blending discipline, respect, and intensity. Chuck's persistence transformed the dojo from an empty room into a respected training ground, marking the first tangible sign that the invisible boy was finally being noticed. Tournament triumphs, recognition, and limits. By the late 1960s, Chuck's dedication began paying off in competitive martial arts. He entered tournaments with precision and strategy, favoring control over showmanship. His victories were methodical, each movement deliberate, eventually earning him 6 world middleweight karate championships between 1968 and 1974. His record of 183 wins and 10 losses became legendary. However, success in tournaments brought mixed feelings. While trophies validated skill, they could not erase poverty, uncertainty, or the psychological scars of childhood. Chuck was the best fighter in the world, yet financial struggle and the shadow of his father's voice persisted. These years demonstrated that even mastery and recognition cannot immediately heal emotional wounds, and they reinforced the lesson that perseverance, not external validation alone, defines the path from hardship to achievement. Hollywood breakthrough, Bruce Lee and Way of the Dragon. Despite martial arts dominance, Hollywood initially dismissed Chuck as too stiff, plain, or lacking charisma. Auditions yielded polite rejections, leaving him questioning years of effort. His trajectory changed in 1968 when Bruce Lee, already an international sensation, sought to train with him. Their friendship and mutual respect became pivotal. Bruce recognized Chuck's authenticity and warrior presence, eventually casting him as the antagonist Colt in Way of the Dragon, 1972. The climactic fight scene in Rome's Colosseum, spanning 7 minutes, showcased Chuck's precision against Bruce's explosive speed. The sequence became iconic, establishing Chuck as a credible martial artist on screen. Yet triumph was bittersweet. Bruce's sudden death in 1973 left Chuck devastated, introducing him to survivor's guilt. He honored Bruce's memory through relentless work, navigating Hollywood with the same discipline and intensity learned in martial arts, proving resilience in both personal and professional realms. Fame, wealth, and enduring influence. Chuck Norris achieved extraordinary financial and cultural success, accumulating wealth, luxury properties, and a global reputation. Yet, even amidst fame, he experienced the familiar pressures of distance from family and relentless schedules. The rise of Chuck Norris facts in the mid-2000s further amplified his legendary persona, blending humor, admiration, and absurd hyperbole. The internet phenomenon introduced him to younger generations, ensuring his legacy transcended films and television. Through memes, worldwide fan engagement, and continuous work in entertainment, Chuck became not just an action star, but a symbol of resilience, discipline, and persistence. His story, from a frightened, overlooked boy to a martial arts champion, actor, and global icon, illustrates how personal struggle, relentless effort, and moral integrity can create influence and admiration that endures across generations. Conclusion: from fear to immortality. Chuck Norris's life demonstrates that true strength emerges from enduring hardship, facing fear, and transforming pain into purpose. From a violent Oklahoma home to martial arts mastery, from obscurity to international fame, he exemplifies perseverance in its most disciplined form. Success was never a single moment, but the cumulative result of repeated choices, rigorous training, and unwavering commitment. Beyond the memes, the films, and the stardom, the real Chuck Norris is a man who overcame childhood trauma, self-doubt, and professional rejection to become a cultural icon. His story reminds us that invincibility is not granted by fame or physical skill alone. It is earned through persistence, courage, and the refusal to surrender, even when the world has overlooked you.